Want to take the train after your bikepacking Camino? Here's why you need to plan, then we'll show you how we did it.
G'day, hello, how are we? Look, an interesting fact is 10% of the Camino is completed by bicycle. So 10% of the people that do the Camino do it by bicycle, which is a significant number of people. Now, you would think most people are interested in riding here. You know, once they get here, they kind of they've had enough of the bike and they want to go somewhere else. You'd think that the train system would be fully set up to cater to those people. But let me tell you, nothing could be further from the truth. Every time you turn up at a railway station in Spain and say you want to take your bicycle on board, they act as if they've never heard this before. And it's a complete surprise that, you know, and is it possible, you know, like, and you go like, come on guys, like, you know it's possible and you know that you can do it. Well, in this case, it's not really possible at all to go any sort of reasonable way home. So we're going to take a middle distance train to the coast, and if worst comes to worst, we'll ride from there. But even then, like, we've got 3 trains in Spain. One time it was like not such a big deal, right? The other 2 times it's been like a bureaucratic nightmare to get the bike on the train. Like, always the system crashes. They've got to make phone calls. People are running back and forth, you know. And I swear to God, that's what it's been like. It took like an hour. And I'm thinking, like, this is the edge of capability for them to sell a ticket. Like, to sell a ticket is the edge of their capability. You may be outside the envelope, you know, asking them to give you a ticket with a bicycle. You know, and the whole time they're saying it's possible, but, you know, like, highly unusual. And I go like, come on, it can't be that hard. And like, they're the worst designed trains for bicycles I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like somebody sat down and said, how can we make this the most miserable experience that you can ever have? And like literally traumatize people, putting them on and off the train, you know, and then you come up with the Spanish trains. So anyway, I'll let you go. And I think PJ will give you a few more of the details. I'm just telling you, the experience is a nightmare. Like, it is if you're planning on coming here and using the railway system to move your train around, do not believe what they say, because, like, just to give an example, we turned up, we rode here with the full expectation of catching this middle distance train back to Orsens and then riding from Orsens back to here to complete our second Camino. When we get here with a straight face, they say, oh yeah, but that's not a middle distance train, it's really an Advent train. And like, you should know that. And I'm going like, but it says middle distance. It says right there. Even if I go over here and look at that, it says middle distance. Yeah, but it's Advent, and you're not allowed to take bicycles on Advent trains. Change the timetable. So we're going north into the Basque country, and that's the other thing. Spain doesn't talk to the railway stations in Basque country. It's like a different country, even though it's the same as Spain. And they literally talk to you like it's like Switzerland or something like that. Like, how would we know what goes on in Basque country? You know, it's like Australians talking about Tasmania, like anything's going, you know, like, who knows? Okay, I gotta let you go. I could wax lyrical about this for a long time because it's very frustrating and it's kind of unusual. Like, it really does seem backwards and weird, and I don't know, like,
Charles needs therapy.
Certain categories of trains in Spain do technically allow bicycles if they're in a bag and the bag is smaller than a normal adult bicycle's frame, and also if there are slots available for bicycles, noting that usually when we ask about this, the system is down and they have to actually phone people that are on the train to see if there are any bicycles in the slot. Then when we're going up to the north, we have no idea really where we're going. We just want to go to the UK. And there's this train network across the top of Spain. Part of it is Basque country, and it uses the Basque train service, and I'll give you links to that. The other part is this Renfe service, which doesn't exist in the Renfe website. So when you go to buy tickets online and you go to Renfe, the stations don't exist on the drop-down menu. It's like it's like it's not even there, but it actually is there, and as far as we know we can take bicycles on it, but it's really going to be a mystery. Are we going to be cycling a long way in really hilly terrain across the north of Spain, or are we actually going to be able to catch at least one bloody train and get across into France to be able to get up and to the ferry to the UK? So good luck.
They told us there were only 2 spaces in each carriage. There were 3. You need to change trains at each of these stops. We usually stay overnight. Depending on the schedule, you might not have to.
So Google Maps says go straight ahead, but the road has been cut off by some kind of highway thing.
Because there was no train, we couldn't get our, well, there is a train, but we can't get our bikes on the train because it's stupid rules. We're riding between A Corral and Ferros. PJ chose the route, which is probably the only route, but it's not a good route. It's just next to a main road and it's just frightening. It's raining lightly and then raining heavily. It's pretty hilly to get to Ferrol, and we're basically just riding along a main road. So we've decided to catch a train. So we've turned up at the railway station, and of course there's only 2 trains a day, one going away and one going to, and the next one's at 6 o'clock, and it's like 4 o'clock now. And so we've turned up at the railway station. There's 2 platforms, like 2 platforms.
Here's the other one. There.
And they both look equally used as much as the other one does. And we asked the local and they said they don't know which side you've got to get on for the train. And we rang up the helpline and they said, oh, we don't know. And you know, sometimes it uses one platform and sometimes it uses the other platform. But you've only got a minute to get on the train when it turns up, so you better be quick. And we've got to pull the bikes apart and put them in bags to get on the train, so we won't be quick. So...
Because carrying the bags across to the other platform would be impossible in time.
And remember, if we miss the train, the next one's the next day. So, you know, we'd be riding the next day. But at the end of the day, my luck is whichever platform I choose, it'll be the other one for sure. So what we're going to do is ride to the next train, which only has one platform. So that's the way.
The next station we saw on the satellite image.
But this is just another fantastic example of how well the trains are organised in Spain. It's like when you ring up the we don't know, like you should know that. And I'm going like, you're the helpline. You're the helpline.
And we're like, isn't there somebody at the station who can help you? Look behind him.
You know, like, and we say, no, it's abandoned. It looks like nobody ever comes here. Like, and, you know, like, it's just like they're sort of saying it's your idea that you have to find it out. And we're saying, well, there's nothing here to tell you. I can tell you that now. So, anyway, overcome and adapt. We'll head off to the next train station, which is across the river. And we'll get there, we'll be soaked, which is what we were trying to avoid.
So we reached the second train station relatively unscathed, just really, really wet. It's raining.
We finally got onto the train, and I kid you not, we are the only people on the train. Like the only people, there's nobody else.
No one anywhere.
No one.
If I could do this again, I wouldn't buy the bags, I'd just sneak the bikes on board. Unfortunately, there was a bus diversion on this route declared just after we bought the tickets. The staff at the Ferrol train station were absolutely wonderful, and they gave us free snacks and coffee because they were worried about us because the cafe was closed and we had a long journey ahead of us without any food. While we were on the train, they talked to each other and organised it so that we didn't have to try to fit our bicycles into the bus transfer, and we were able to stay on the train through the closed section and continue the journey without disruption. So kind. The views were spectacular.
We have arrived and we're going to find accommodation.
There are a lot of stations in this hidden network.
It's early morning and we're off to the railway station on my mother's birthday.
Hey Charlie, did you know I have magic powers? As soon as I put the camera up to the window, we go into a tunnel.
It's true, she does have magic powers. That's how her luck normally runs. If she drops something, which happens all the time, it always falls, you know, butter side down.
That's very true.
Okay, we just finished the train trip and we end up at this really cool railway station. It looks like something. It looks a lot nicer than a railway station, put it that way. And then we turned up at this beautiful square. So Bilbao looks like it's going to be an interesting place to have a look around.
So Charlie, I have good news and bad news. The great news is that the metro system in this whole region allows bicycles with absolutely no problem. And also it's generally co-located with the rail system. So on this side of the river it's co-located here with the Spanish railway network, the Renfe network, but we have to cross to the other side of the river if we're going to find the Basque railway station for the Basque railway network that we're going to take to the border between Spain and France. I'm looking forward to it because it's going to be a little bit different, and the guy in the metro was really helpful. He spoke English, he was absolutely lovely, but he doesn't know anything about the rules for the Basque rail system, only the metro.
And just to be clear, the other side of the river is like 100 yards that way, so he knows nothing about what's happening 100 yards down the road. We're going to go to the Guggenheim Museum. I thought it was in New York, but there's one here, so we're going to go have a look.
Charlie's off to the Navy Museum, and while I love a good Navy Museum, I'm off to the hairdressers to get a badly needed trim. Charlie, give me your thoughts, and what have you been up to since I saw you last?
Well, I've been cycling along the riverfront, which has got bike paths on both sides of the river that seem to go a long way, while PJ's just been bludgeoning. She got her hair cut and her hair washed, you know, and then she went to a vegan restaurant, just sat around, and until they asked her to leave, she was like just taking up space, you know.
Bollocks.
So anyway, you know, it's really cool. They got the Guggenheim Museum here, and art gallery, and then they also had a maritime museum. Unfortunately, at the maritime museum, the main attraction wasn't there. And you know, just went for a cycle. It was really lovely. And there's an opera house, and this seems like a really busy, happening little town. Well, it's not little, I suppose. It's pretty big. Everything's in very good order, and it just looks very nice. And it seems like a lot of young people. There's not much accommodation available again, so we're going to go on today.
Go to San Sebastian.
Yeah, I've been trying to get my bike fixed because I've blown more spokes on the rear wheel. You know, I think the bike's trying to tell me something. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's being very ambiguous. But like, this is kind of worse than last time, because last time, while I blew spokes, there was only 2 of them. This time I've blown a few more.
Ooh.
And the wheel's out of true at the moment, so I had to take the back brake off. Or the back wheel wouldn't turn, but we just I'm continuing riding it because I'm an idiot. And hopefully on Monday we'll get it fixed, but everything's closed. Like, I tried to take it to a couple of bike shops, but everything's closed. And I took it to Decathlon, and the guy there was really nice, but he didn't have the spokes. They don't do that sort of work. So anyway, other than that, it's really lovely. It's kind of a shame we've got to go.
We're getting on the Basque Railway network?
Yeah, so we got to change trains, and we're going on to like just a metro at the moment, and they have no problems with the bicycles as well. So I've got to say, this northern bicycle trains, they're very good with bicycles. Like, you can just roll the bikes on and roll the bikes off, and you know, even though the trains are tiny, like they're little tiny trains, like the biggest one we've seen has been 2 carriages. You can probably put 6 or 7 bikes in there, no problems at all. Where the bigger trains in the rest of Spain, either you can't put bikes in, or you can only put 2 in the whole train.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, the rest of Spain sucks as far as bikes are concerned, but this part, it's pretty good. Unfortunately, the trains stop at every station, and they really take a long time. So I think to get here, we've probably stopped at 60 stations, and it's been really lovely. Like, I thought I'd just watch movies the whole time, but looking out the window has been really lovely. Like, it's lovely landscape, and it's a lot different than Australian's landscape. So, you know, you're seeing all these villages that look like they'd be ski villages, and you can see snow-capped mountains and sheer granite cliffs, and it's been very, very scenic, and it's been totally different than the environments that I've been used to, either in the last 3 years, which has been a desert environment, or for mainly the rest of my life, which has either been Asian or Australian. So completely different, very European, and very lovely, and truthfully a lot different than the environments we saw in the middle of Spain, which were a drier, more Australian environment. And in Portugal we didn't really see anything like this. This is incredibly lush, incredibly green, a lot of running rivers, and when I say running, I mean like white water running, and just beautiful little villages scattered along the coast. So it's been totally different.
We were on the home stretch, just needing to change trains one more time.
So we're at San Sebastian, Charles, why aren't we staying here tonight?
Because there's literally no accommodation, and we can see why once we got here, because it's just pumping.
Yeah, this looks awesome. We'll have to come back another day. And we're continuing through to the border. The hotel is, what, less than 500 meters from the border of Spain and France?
Well, it's way less than that. It's like 50 feet.
There you go.
Dogs are allowed on these trains too. You're hearing the sounds of cheering at the local football ground. It was a cool little town. Good morning, Charlie. Where are we going? What's going on?
Well, I'm glad you asked, PJ. Today we're going to go over the border. Just outside of this hotel is a bridge that goes over into France. Last night we did a little bit of sneaky, like checking it out, and there's a police people at the bridge, at the other end of the bridge, and we're not really sure what they're there for, but we have our stories straight. So we live in Portugal, and we just want to go to France. Okay, so that's the first bit of excitement, and then the second bit of excitement is we're going to catch a train just over the mountains, right? So there's a range of mountains right on the border. So for about 15, 20 kilometers, we're going to catch a train, then we're going to get off, and then we're going to cycle, and we have no idea where we're staying tonight because we don't know the condition of the wind or anything like that, so we're unlikely. But we've got 3 days to get to Bordeaux, so we've got accommodation booked in Bordeaux. And the super exciting thing is my bicycle back wheel is very wobbly, okay, and has broken spokes, so we don't actually know if we're going to make it. And as soon as we get off that train, the train line and the bicycle part diverge, and it seems like it's a bit of a dead zone for like towns and stuff like that. So, you know, wise people would probably just catch the train straight to Bordeaux and get the bicycle fixed. But nobody's ever accused us of being smart. So we're going to add some drama by seeing if my bicycle wheel will make it through. Okay.
And where are we going? Paris. Hopefully.
Well, in the end, we're going to England, but we're thinking about going up on the Eurovelo 1, okay, and then coming across at Bordeaux, we're going to go on to the Eurovelo 3, okay, which goes to Paris. Okay, obviously neither of us have been to Paris, neither of us have been to Bordeaux, so these will be really good. And, you know, we're on a bit of a timeline so I can get out of the Shenzhen area before my visa runs out. So anyway, and also we want to go to England. It'll be really cool. And it will probably actually be very cold. So anyway, it's exciting today. The accommodation is as we go over the border, the accommodation is jumping, like the price is jumping probably by 50%. Okay, so we have been trying to keep our accommodation costs below 50 euros a night. And we're still going to try that, but it's probably unreasonable to expect that we can do it. So we're on the border here. This costs 58 euros. And so we're resetting our expectations at 60 euros, but even that will be a struggle. Okay, remembering that because of COVID, we don't want to use any shared facilities. So we want a private room with a bathroom. So obviously, if we're staying in shared accommodation, we could probably do it quite easily. But yeah, we're trying not to for COVID. Neither of us had COVID and neither of us want it.
If something does happen to Charlie's bike, we're probably going to be sleeping under a bridge. So this is really fun.
We can walk to the railway line.
20 kilometers. We'll see how we go.
We can walk.
Wow, you're still with us. Thank you. Here's a bonus map with the costs. And I'll add information and links in the description for you. Good luck on your Camino.